Hey guys, it's me, Rich. You ever spot a serious news outlet rewriting a speech to paint someone as a monster when the original words were totally different? We've seen this playbook used against Trump time and time again, from cable news networks slicing and dicing his footage to rhino officials in Georgia releasing an edited phone call. The left's favorite tactic to take him down has always been the same. Push something out into the world that's completely taken out of context and then let the outrage machine do the rest. And that's exactly why this kind of manipulation is dangerous. When you twist someone's words and feed that distortion to millions of people, you're not just smearing reputations, guys. You're lighting a fuse, because the violent leftist radicals who believe those lies, they often act on them. They start seeing targets instead of people. But in this case, the leftist media edited and doctored Donald Trump's January 6th speech to make it appear that he was calling for a riot. And that was the verbiage that they used, that the Democrats used all along to scream insurrection. I'm going to play both versions for you. I'm going to play the BBC's version that was edited, and then I'm going to play you the real version. And it's going to make you think, what else did they do? And it was all based on a lie. You're about to see exactly how that happened. In today's video, we examine how the BBC allegedly doctored a clip of Donald Trump's January 6th speech to make him sound like he was inciting violence, when in fact he was calling for a peaceful demonstration. Now, this is not what you've heard and seen in the past. It's not Trump saying we're going to march peacefully and patriotically to the Capitol. This is something completely new that we've never seen before. But what you're going to see is how deep the manipulation might run, so that we can know how to counter this kind of garbage politics in the future. Let's get into it. All right, guys, welcome back to RPW Media, where we don't settle for what we've been told by the left. If you like our videos and you haven't done so already, you should become a subscriber to the channel. You can hit the notification bell, smack the like button, because it helps us get our message out to a whole lot more people. We thank you for that. So it's been almost 4 years since January 6th, and somehow the truth is still fighting to get out. It feels like clockwork. Every few months, another part of the so-called narrative collapses under its own lies. This time, the latest crack in the story comes from across the pond, and it's a big one. The world's most polished propaganda outfit, the BBC, just got caught doing what the corporate press does best: editing reality to fit a political goal. According to new reports, the BBC, the network our media keeps insisting is balanced and credible, apparently doctored a clip of Trump's January 6th speech to make him sound like he was riling up a mob. Except that's not what he did, not even close. What's coming out now could go down as one of the most blatant cases of political propaganda ever aired about that day. And the obvious question is, who told them to make it? From the Telegraph, the BBC doctored a Donald Trump speech by making him appear to encourage the Capitol Hill riot, according to an internal whistleblowing memo seen by the Telegraph. A panorama program broadcast a week before the U.S. election, quote, completely misled viewers by showing the president telling supporters he was going to walk to the Capitol with them to fight like hell, when in fact he said he would walk with them to peacefully, patriotically let your voices be heard. The mangled footage was highlighted in a 19-page dossier on BBC bias, which was compiled by a recent member of the corporation's Standards Committee and is now circulating in government departments. The dossier said the program made the U.S. president say things he never actually said by splicing together footage from the start of his speech with something he said nearly an hour later. It claimed senior executives and the BBC's chairman had ignored and dismissed a string of serious complaints raised by the corporation's own standards watchdog. The Telegraph will soon publish other excerpts of the memo, which accused the BBC's Arabic service of bias over its coverage of the war in Gaza and accused the corporation of effective censorship of its coverage of the transgender debate. The document raises serious questions about the culture at the BBC, how it affects impartiality, and how managers, including Tim Davie, the Director General, are accused of turning a blind eye to evidence of bias. Now, this wasn't some harmless edit or lazy mistake. If the report is accurate, guys, the BBC literally took two different parts of Trump's speech, cut them together, and deleted the word to completely change his meaning. I mean, think about that. They waved off internal alarms and buried the evidence deep, counting on the story to disappear. They figured no one would ever notice. It sounds like Barack Obama and his band of merry bandits, doesn't it? Now, here are the two clips side by side. Both together are only 21 seconds long, but it changes the entire narrative of what the left was doing that day. It was a hit piece. Of that, there is no question. There is no way the BBC accidentally cut this clip this way. Unless, of course, there's other evidence that I didn't hear yet. So I will say, allegedly, one version sounds like a call to riot. That's the BBC's edited version, the first one. Give this a watch.
We're going to walk down to the Capitol, and I'll be there with you. And we fight. We fight like hell. We're going to walk down to the Capitol, and we're going to cheer on our brave senators and congressmen and women.
Now that's chilling. How is what the BBC did different from a deep fake? The real question is, what else they screwed with? If the BBC paid for by taxpayers was this comfortable rewriting Trump's words, how much of the January 6th story was edited, staged, or flat out invented? So what does this mean for you and the country? The January 6th narrative isn't holding up anymore. It's collapsing under its own weight. And this whistleblower revelation from inside the BBC might be the final nail in the coffin. But on the other hand, you have the power, because knowing the truth gives you leverage. It means that you can demand better. It means you can refuse to accept the edited version and insist on seeing the raw. It means that you can hold institutions to account now. And that's exactly where we should be headed. Look, if the BBC, funded by taxpayers, was comfortable rewriting Trump's words, then how many other official stories have been adjusted behind the scenes? You owe it to yourself to watch, question, and insist on clarity. And now you have the knowledge that trust is not given, it's earned and maintained by constant transparency. Here's the upside. You're more aware, more alert, and more empowered than you were 5 minutes ago. You just saw that. They absolutely doctored the video to make Trump look bad. And those words were used by the left ever since January 6, 2021, to scream that he ran an insurrection. So use that power, stay sharp, stay skeptical, and keep fighting for clarity. All right. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one.